Hello, Sam, online fitness and nutrition coach here. And recently I just did a mini cut and I wanted to share with you how you can do one too and what a mini cut actually is. So during my mini cut, I dropped 7 pounds in 8 weeks. I did not have a weight goal. I just had a time frame. My last day of the mini cut was the day my brother got here for vacation, and I started at the very beginning of September. So it was September 1st to October 24th. So it was about 7 to 8-ish weeks, and I did lose 7 pounds in that amount of time, and I never felt restricted, and I never did anything super hardcore. It actually felt really easier than I was expecting, to be honest. So I did weigh myself every day, because the scale doesn't really mess with me too much. If it does you, I would not recommend starting with weighing yourself daily, because those fluctuations can sometimes mess with your head. But I know that they're coming, and I like to use my weekly average to measure my progress. All right, so I just wanted to pop in and show you what my weight looked like from my daily weigh-ins, to show you what weight fluctuations look like and quote unquote plateaus. So here's my daily weights. So you can take a look as we go and see I bumped up a whole pound and then dropped almost 2 pounds and then hovered right around here, a little drop, and then bam, right back up to where more than I was the whole week past. And then gradually going down again. And then we have a spike, and this is about 2 weeks into the mini cut. And as you can see, it goes down again. We're at 135, so that was a new low. And up. Oh, here's a big spike, all the way back up to 138. So that's 3 pound difference. And then we're coming down. And I must have missed it today. And here we go. And then we have the same thing for almost a week. And then a big dip by about 2 pounds. And right back up. And then a nice gradual lowering. And then a 134. So here's another low. And then a big spike. A dip. Another spike. And then some gradual lowering. As we're reaching the end of the mini cut, we come down, and here's actually the last day of the mini cut, my 133.6 weigh-in. Now, let's look at the weeks. So we're going to come back. So this is what we really want to look at, is my weekly trends. And see, we started here and goes down. Had a couple weeks there that stayed exactly the same on average. But look, so the general trend is lowering, and that is what we really want to look for overall, is that general lowering trend. And we could even look at months if we really wanted to, and it drops down by quite a bit. So I just wanted to show you how daily weigh-ins, weekly weigh-ins, and months, or the weekly averages, can look when you are keeping track of your weight day by day. It jumps up and down quite a bit when you go day by day. What you want to really look at is that trend overall going the direction you want it to. Okay, back to other Sam. So I did weigh myself every morning before I did anything else, and I took those averages each week to decide or figure out what my progress actually was. So I went from 140 to about 133 on that very first day of vacation. And I was super excited, and I did maintain that weight loss while on vacation, which could be a whole extra video, but I'm not going to go into how I managed that while still enjoying vacation. Okay, so what is a mini cut? What does a mini cut mean? For a lot of people, this means going really hard for a short amount of time, so hence mini. And they just like really grind it out. For me, I was thinking of it more as a short amount of time, but also just very relaxed and not taking myself in the process way too seriously. So more of just like losing weight while still living life and enjoying everything and not getting too stressed out or too rigid. So I did the exact opposite. of what most people consider a mini cut, so maybe I need to rename what it's called. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. But for now, I'm just gonna call it a mini cut because I don't have a better name for it. So that's what it is right now. Okay, so to lose weight, no matter what, you have to be in a calorie deficit. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. To lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. A calorie deficit just is consuming fewer calories than your body uses. That's it. So you're burning more calories than you consume or eat and drink throughout the day. That's all you need to lose weight. That's what weight loss happens by, I guess. So I did this without counting calories. I just used a few small tricks that make it possible to lose weight without having to count calories. Now, I am not against counting calories at all. I have counted calories and really paid attention to food labels in the past, which made this much easier for me to do because I already have a nice general idea of what the calories in the foods I eat are and everything like that. So that helps a lot with the more intuitive way of doing this weight loss like I did. So if you've never counted calories or never looked at a label or haven't made that a habit, that could be an excellent place to start because that will help you be more intuitive with your eating because you actually know what is in your food and how many calories are in the foods that you eat. Okay, so what did I do? I decided I would eat 3 big meals a day and allow myself a snack at night. I know myself. I like to snack after supper. And so I figured I would just make it easier on myself and plan in a snack after supper. That way I didn't have to just resist snacking after dinner when I know I'm gonna really want to. So I just made sure that that was gonna always be a thing. My snack almost exclusively consisted of air popped popcorn because one, high volume, so I had a lot to eat, but also low calorie, and there's some fiber in there. So it was a little bit healthier too, a healthier option for a snack than what other snacks could be, but still completely enjoyable for me because I really do like popcorn. And the bonus is it's a lot of food for not that many calories. Also, my 3 meals, I always had a lean protein. Every meal I had at least 1 serving of lean protein, maybe even 2. So things like chicken, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, tofu, stuff like that. I also had lean pork chops were a very common one for me because I really like them. And then all meals had a big serving of veggies. You could do fruits and or veggies. I just am not a fruit person, so I went with veggies. A lot of the times it was a big salad, broccoli, or green beans. Sometimes I mixed it up a little bit, but I tend to be a creature of habit. Okay, so that was my big rules. Lean protein in every meal, fruit and veggie, and let myself have that snack. And what I did was I reduced my snacking a bit throughout the day. I am a snacker and I'm like, all right, before I snack, I'm gonna ask myself if I really need this. And most of the time, I didn't. Most of the time I wasn't hungry, I just felt snacky, which is really not the best reason to have a snack. So I just kind of cut back on that and made more of a conscious decision about those snacks. Now, if I really, really wanted it, I didn't tell myself no and I would have it, but just more often than not, I didn't really need it. I wasn't hungry. And after I asked myself, I'm like, Sam, do you really need this? Most of the time I didn't. So I would not have that snack. So we cut out snacks, not completely, but we cut down on snacks is a better way to put it. And dinners, I also like to be big. So I had smaller breakfasts and smaller lunches, knowing I would want to have a big supper. So supper would be a lot bigger. It'd be the bulk of my calories just because that is how I like to eat throughout the day. My breakfasts and lunches were probably around 300 to 500 calories and my suppers were much more. I couldn't even begin to guess, but probably 8 to 1,000 calories to be really honest. Plus my nightly snack, which was around 200 to 300. My breakfasts were usually eggs, egg whites, and a salad. Lunches were a really big salad with Greek yogurt ranch that I made, and then a lean protein like cottage cheese or chicken. Kept it pretty simple. What is common from those meals is they are all high volume, so foods that are big, filling, and take a little bit more time to eat, and lower calories. So lots of food for not as many calories. So you get feel like you're eating more, because you are, but you're not getting all those calories stacked up on there. So I made sure to eat a lot of high volume, low calorie foods to help me feel full while also keeping my calories in check so I could remain in a calorie deficit. I did have treats. Once a week, I would have a big, huge spaghetti meal. I love spaghetti and I always eat too much of it. So I just knew that was gonna happen and I planned it in. I didn't try to fight that, but that only happened once a week and we cut back on how often we ate out. We had been going out to eat at least once a week and we definitely reeled that back in. And during September to October, we only ate out maybe 3 times and we made sure we were really excited for it and that we were looking forward to it. So we made sure that the food was worth having how many calories that going out to eat food has, because it's very high. So I was able to still lose weight while going out to eat, having spaghetti once a week, and having snacks. I also kept eating candy. I am a huge fan of Smarties and Fun Dip. I would let those be part of my diet daily, and I just kept those in check. And like I said, just kept in mind that I knew I would be eating those by making sure my meals would allow me to have those calories and maintain that calorie deficit. Next, I didn't eat until I was stuffed. I did not eat till I was actually even really like full. So like say you're on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is like you're really full. I probably ate to an 8, maybe a 9 sometimes, but I never got to that very full and I really didn't get to that overly full stage. So I made sure that I was just satisfied and I could probably still comfortably go for a walk if I wanted to and not be like, oh gosh, like this is gonna be miserable. I made sure I did not eat to that point, which helped me keep those calories down as well, while still feeling not deprived or restricted at all. As for my exercise, I upped my steps to 6,000 a day. I have no idea what they were at before, but they were much lower than that. And some days 6,000 was a challenge for me to get in. I work from home, so I don't get up and move around that much. So that was really an eye-opener, actually, and I hit my step goal all but 6 days in that 8 weeks. So I was pretty proud of that. I probably could have hit those 6 days, but you know, nobody's perfect. So, and a lot of days I got a lot more, especially on the weekends. We're very active weekend people, so I would get well over 15,000 on the weekend days. So I feel like sometimes that made up for it. I don't know if that counts or not. But, so I upped my steps and made sure I hit my goal, and my lifts, actually nothing changed. I lifted and did my strength workouts exactly the same as normal. I did not add any HIIT workout. Not necessary to do. HIIT is hard on your body and it would have interfered with my regular lifts, and I just wanted to keep those the same, so nothing changed there. As for harder cardio, harder than walking, I actually stopped running for a while right when I started my minicut. I was feeling very burned out and I was not in the mood and it was feeling like a chore, so I just told myself I would give myself a break, and when I started to feel like running again, I would. And I didn't run for a whole month. I didn't run for that first whole month. So my only cardio was that walking. About October, I would see people running and feel a little jealous. So I started running in October about 3 days a week, only 2 to 4 miles on those runs. So nothing crazy by any means. So 20 to 40 minutes worth of cardio running 3 times a week. So really not much cardio. Lifts stayed the same 4 days a week. Body part split. I did shoulders, legs, back, and then shoulders. Okay, let's talk about the main takeaways from this. What can you use to do a mini cut that's not super restrictive and more intuitive if you already kind of know what's in your foods, what the calorie content of your foods are, and even if you don't, you can totally give this a try. These tips will still work and help, even if you haven't done calorie counting or looked at the nutrition labels too much. But I would encourage you to definitely start looking at labels so you can start to learn. Okay, so the main diet takeaways are: load up your plate with fruits and or veggies. Load it up with lean protein, things like chicken, lean turkey, lean pork, lean beef, eggs and egg whites, cottage cheese, tofu. If you are a vegetarian or a vegan, that would be things, so vegetarian, egg whites and eggs are a great option, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, things like that. If you're a vegan, stuff like beans, tofu, and things like that would be great options. Second, do not make it harder on yourself than you need to. If you know you like big suppers, or if you know you like to snack at night, don't fight that. Work with that. Work with your natural tendencies instead of working against them and then just being frustrated when you want a snack or when you're like, I wish supper was bigger. So just plan around who you are and don't make it any harder than it needs to be. Third, do not eat until you are stuffed or till you're really even full. Eat just shy of that I'm pretty full point, and that can help you stay in that calorie deficit as needed. All right, so for exercise and movement, what should you do in minicut? If you are already strength training, I would say don't change anything. You don't need to change anything. You don't need to add HIIT. You don't need to add extra days. You don't need to add plyos or anything. Just keep your strength training the same. As for cardio, keep it the same. You can up it a little bit if you want that extra boost and it's not going to be cumbersome or lead to overtraining. So really keep it the same, follow the plan. You don't really need to do any major changes when it comes to strength training and cardio. Now, I would say you can up your walking. One, that's not going to be super stressful, and two, most of us could have a little bit more movement in our days, and it's not going to be a bad thing. And it's really cool to get outside if you can. If not, treadmill walking is totally fine. All right, couple other big takeaways I want to talk about. So I lost 7 pounds in 8 weeks. That probably doesn't sound like a ton, but that's really pretty much on average. I lost a pound a week, which is really freaking awesome. So it's very cool. And it never even felt like I was dieting. So it was kind of like it was just happening without me really doing too much. And so that was, it felt very easy and enjoyable. Slow weight loss is usually better for lots of different reasons, and just not the least amount is just how enjoyable your experience is going to be. Now, I know I was saying it was easy, it didn't feel like I was dieting, but there were definitely times where I had to be mindful and make an adult choice, like when I felt like snacking and I knew I didn't really need to. I had to acknowledge that I wanted to snack and then make a conscious choice not to. So there are points where you will have to make an adult choice and be more aware and more mindful of the decisions you are making and how they're going to impact those goals you want to reach down the road. So is right now you going to be happy with it, but then also is future you, like in an hour you or in a week you, going to be happy with the decision now you is making? So always make sure to ask yourself that. Kind of think of it like, you know, when you need to get gas and you're like, oh, I'll just get it tomorrow. And then tomorrow you is always really upset at yesterday you for not just getting gas when you were right next to the gas station. Yes, it's kind of like that. All right, so we went through the main diet points: veggies, protein. You can have carbs in there. I did eat carbs, but I didn't make sure they were on a plate or anything at all times. I did stick to smart carbs, so more whole, minimally processed carbs like potatoes and rice and oatmeal and stuff like that. Don't eat until you're stuffed, and then work with who you are. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Workouts stay the same. Maybe up your step count because most people could do with some more walking, and it's always a great thing to get a little bit more walking in. So, main takeaway is you can lose weight without counting calories. But if you've never counted calories before, counting calories can help you be much more aware of what's in your foods and make it easier to be someone that intuitively eats or eats more mindfully down the road. So, do what works for you. Conduct an experiment, see which one works for you, see if the mindful eating works, and then if it's not really working, try an experiment and try the calorie counting and see what happens. So that's really all I have for now. And I hope this was helpful. I hope you can take some cool tips away from this. Please let me know if there's any questions or what one thing you might want to try is. All right. Peace out, peeps.